Good morning, good noon, good evening. Wherever time and place you listen to us from, straight from the 909. It's Mark, Ali, myself, Isaiah, and together,
that's hip-hop.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Today we're discussing the Sandman, the Prince of hip-hop, Kendrick Lamar. Few artists have managed to redefine the contours of the genre quite like Kendrick Lamar. Emerging from the storied streets of Compton, California, Lamar has transcended the expectations placed on him as an artist, weaving intricate tales of life in the inner city with a masterful lyrical prowess. We're discussing his debut album, Section 80, released on July 2nd, 2011 by Top Dog Entertainment. This album was mainly handled by Top Dog Entertainment in-house producers from production groups such as Digiphonics, as well as THC, Tommy Black, Wildfire, Terrence Martin, and J. Cole, which is really interesting now.
Right, ironically, huh?
A concept album, it features lyrical themes delivered by Lamar as the 1980s crack epidemic, racism, and medication tolerance of Generation Y. The album features guest appearances from GLC, Colin Monroe, Astrobot, BJ, the Chicago Kid, Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul, and vocals from singer-songwriter Alori Jao. This album charted at 113 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and 21 on the U.S. top R&B and hip-hop albums. It went gold in the U.S., silver in the United Kingdom. The length of this album is 59 minutes and 44 seconds. The single from this album was High Power. Gentlemen, we are finally here talking about Kendrick Lamar, who I think, when I think of Kendrick Lamar, I see him as kind of like hip-hop's savior in today's time.
It's a big hot take.
Yeah, it's a big title to put on Kendrick Lamar, but I feel like
he's one of them at least.
It's one of them that he's been given due to his lyrical prowess, due to how in today's world he's one of those MCs who sticks to the lyrics. And he's doing it at a high level, which, nowadays we see it's more about, just your swag, more about your look, your cadence, more of like just how you sound, not so much the lyrics. So that's why I think he's been given that title as one of the titles that he's been given actually. And such a big, like anytime he drops, he garners so much attention.
Yep. He
makes moments in hip hop that are very memorable. That's what he gives you. He gives you moments. I think Dr. Dre said he was like, he's like the Sandman, where he might disappear for a while. When he pops up though, everybody is like,
yep.
Everybody's he got everybody's attention.
And and the saying goes, "How can you miss me if I don't go away?" And being so good with what you do in hip hop, when you do leave, people are going to miss you.
It's a void.
Right.
And then the ironic thing too, like Ali mentioned, like briefly just voiced in, is that J. Cole produced a beat on here.
That's crazy.
He did High Power.
That's crazy.
Yep, J. Cole did High Power.
So that's an interesting thing. I think since you mentioned that, let's talk about a little bit about that. J. Cole is one of the early people who kind of discovered Kendrick Lamar. He's not the person, but he's one of the early people that discovered Kendrick Lamar. And I heard a story, I think something about him mentioning it to Dr. Dre even. I'm sure he's not the only person that mentioned just to Dr. Dre, but one of the people. So it's pretty interesting. It reminds me so much of like Biggie and Tupac, how they were in the same pocket, and then now we're
kind of a division.
Very interesting. Just talking about, for those who are watching who don't know, in this present moment, we are living in a time where Kendrick speaks up against Drake, against Cole. Cole fires back with the diss track, takes it back, cants it, and says he's sorry, he apologizes. Getting a lot of flack for that right now from hip hop fans.
It's getting a lot of flack for apologizing. How hip hop is that?
Yeah.
You apologizing? You trying to make things right? Nah, F that.
I mean, legends. All the legends are like, what are you doing?
Right.
All of them.
And it's two
What do you
sides.
think about that,
There's
Zay?
two sides to the coin because as a person, you understand like, okay, where he's coming from. Like, let's stop the cycle that's been happening throughout generations. We
Right.
saw where that led.
Yeah.
But at the same time, hip hop is competitive. It is a sport. It is like I equate it to boxing. It's like boxing because it's an individualistic sport where you're trying to be the best at your craft.
Apologies and bloodshed.
Exactly.
No one has ever reached the top spot in hip hop without competing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
And then
to
just
some degree.
apologize afterwards. After the beat
When
is
it's
done,
over.
Yeah, then dap it up.
You're
and
better
You
off
heard
when
this
it's over.
first on That's Hip Hop. Shoot first, ask questions later. Isaiah
Yeah,
Martinez.
exactly.
Look at Nas. Jay and Nas, perfect example. They killed each other for 4 years.
Right.
They were able to squash it, move on. But in the middle of the battle, there was no apologizing.
Because what do you do? What do you do now? Like as J. Cole,
You don't want to give your opponent the standing gate count. If they get knocked down, you don't want them to get back up. You don't. You're absolutely right, guys.
I just feel like he dug a hole right now that's hard to come out of.
Yeah.
Because anything you say is just like, like you're
that's
soft.
the thing.
Yeah,
It's
and the
like,
community won't allow it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of his recent rise has been on the back of I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. Well, now you're in a moment where you had to compete and back it up. You compete, but then you walk it back. So now it's like the next time you say I'm the best, everybody's going to give you the side eye.
Exactly.
And that's just the
That's
nature of
just
the
the way
game.
it is. It's just the way it is.
That's the nature of the game.
So that's the times that we're currently in. For those who are watching this years and years later, this is the times we're living in. But now we're talking about Kendrick Lamar, who right now it's his turn. He's up on the chess move. He's the one to make the next move.
Correct.
Drake has dropped two disses already, even using AI, Tupac and Snoop. And that is even crazy. That he right now has his foot on his neck.
He's up.
And Kendrick is he's
on the clock.
He's on the clock for response. But we're talking about, somebody who's like I said, he's seen as right now, like they mentioned the big three, he's seen as the leader right now.
Yeah.
I think for underground hip hop.
One of the pillars for sure.
Yeah, definitely. He respects those who came before him. He respects Pac, Eminem, the whole Aftermath tribe. You could tell
He's surrounded by a good network.
He's a
as well.
student.
for sure.
Yeah, he's a student of the game. So you got all that with that. So this is why, discussing Kendrick Lamar right now is a big deal. Not only is it timely, but it's also somebody who's going to go down in history as, one of the greatest MCs of all time. So let's just talk about his style or, just even like your first, actually, I'm curious, what was your first introduction into Kendrick? Like when was your first time hearing Kendrick?
Yeah. I would say my first time hearing him was in 2007. Game had a mixtape. I forget the name of the mixtape, but there was a song with a bunch of just up and coming California rappers. And K-Dot was one of them. His name was K-Dot at the time. And his verse, it was good, but it wasn't something like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But when I heard him rap, I'm like, hey, this K-Dot guy is kind of good. So fast forward, I hear him on a couple other mixtapes. I'm like, okay, K-Dot can rap. I like him. He has potential. And then he kind of went away for like a year or so. And then he changes his name. He rebrands himself as Kendrick Lamar. So as K-Dot, his rhyme style was a lot more like, he kind of, spoke on like, gang stuff and just the stuff he was seeing. But not as necessarily an active participant, but definitely just more focused on just just being a dope lyricist. Whereas when he changed his name to Kendrick Lamar, he was giving you more of himself, on top of talking about what he's seen. So it's kind of like a twofold answer. Like my very, very first time hearing him as K-Dot was in 2007, but then in 2009, he dropped the Kendrick Lamar EP, and that's when I found, and I didn't even realize till about halfway through the project that was the same guy. I didn't even know. Because I didn't even know what he looked like, to be honest with you. I heard him on the mixtapes, but I never really saw any pictures of him or anything. But then when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's K-Dot, okay. And from there, he just kind of developed from Kendrick Lamar EP. Then he dropped Overly Dedicated a year later.
Right off the bat, did you like his style? Did you like what
Oh, for sure. When on the Kendrick Lamar EP, I was like, this guy has potential. Like
Okay.
from that moment, I knew he had potential, but I wasn't like, all in until Overly Dedicated.
Okay.
Overly, the next one was like, okay, he's next.
So I was gonna say, when I first heard him, for me, I didn't gravitate right away to his style.
Right.
Just vocally, I wasn't like, oh, this guy has a dope rapping voice. To me, I felt like he made up for it by doing all the lyrical stuff that he was doing. So I recognized that. But to me, just, and this, let me tell you this, this was the same reaction I had to DMX, mind you. When I first heard DMX, I wasn't like crazy, like, oh, this dude is so like, this and that. I didn't really get it until years later. Then I looked back and was like, dang, man, DMX was sick. So I say that saying that, my ears had to get adjusted a bit. So now when I look back at it, I'm like, dude, man, Kendrick is crazy ill. And I think that's what's unique about him is his voice. And that's not only the only element, but there's other aspects to it. His voice actually reminds me of like the Games and Nipsey's.
Okay.
It's like kind of like raspy, but like ashy a little bit. And it's funny because they all kind of come from the same area as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Imagine like
All
three dudes
LA
coming from the
dudes,
same
yep.
area, have the same kind of vocal tone. But lyrically, this dude got it. He got the skills, the bag of Eminem. He got the, the social awareness of a Tupac.
Absolutely.
He has the gangsta like elements of a 50 Cent. Business acumen even of a 50 Cent. What was your first time hearing him, Mark? So
I ended up hearing Kendrick Lamar around, I would want to say like 2010, 2011. And this was around the time where a lot of his singles were dominating the airwaves with Good Kid, Mad City, Swimming Pools.
Big time. What was that, 2012?
Yep, 2012. Yeah.
So big time. It was his
And
year.
I'm like, dude, you couldn't get away with him because you couldn't get away from him because not only did you have his lyrical prowess, but you also had him with a lot of singles alongside 2 Chainz. And dude, like if you didn't hear Kendrick on one single, it was 2 Chainz on another.
Everywhere at that time.
And it's like, dude, like not that you were at nauseum with either, but you heard them both constantly. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing for hip hop because if they're dominating the airwaves, that means hip hop as a whole is dominating the airwaves.
Correct.
So a lot of this momentum carries into when my buddy, and our buddy too, Jason, he actually invited me to the Yeezus tour with him.
Oh, okay.
He was on
and
that
so
tour.
Kendrick was opening for Kanye West at the time. So I'm like, I'm really excited because you know what? It's like, I'm a little indifferent on what Kanye West is all about. I like him more as a producer than a rapper, but
See, I'm vice versa. I like him more as other stuff, and then no, just kidding.
I'll meet you there, but I'm gonna flip it. So I was excited to see him at the Staples Center, like actually opening up and everything. So we get there, casually late as all IE to Los Angeles County guys do.
Right.
And as soon as we get there, I'm in my seat and I'm like, okay, cool. Kendrick's gonna open up. I see Kendrick on stage, and as soon as I'm walking in the aisle, all right, guys, I'm Kendrick Lamar. Y'all have a good night.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, yo, like, I missed him, man. No. I missed him. And I'm like, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, so the next time, and the next time never showed up, but the next time never shows up. But we all know through this album that we all listen to, is that we get the early seedlings of what would become of Kendrick.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We have, you mentioned 50 Cent.
Yep.
Let's also add Ja Rule to this mix of these guys that actually bring life to their chorus.
Oh yeah.
That actually make use of their chorus.
Okay, I was gonna say you said Ja Rule there. I was like, oh, Ja Rule, Kendrick, but then you just kind of connected.
Because we're always in hip hop, we're always going to get the common branch between Ja Rule and 50 Cent.
They'll always be connected
because both of them are similar to the effect of both of them love to build on that chorus.
Oh yeah.
Kendrick does it to the effect of, okay, we're going to build on this chorus, but we're going to do it to bridge verse 1 to verse 2 and to bridge verse 2 to verse 3.
Right.
And then we close off the song, and then the actual message of the verse connects to verse 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And we not only have this single, but we have the single that tells a story. We have a single that touches on a lot of bases. Swimming pools touches on a lot of bases.
The ills of alcohol.
Yeah.
So
telling a story within the chorus is like...
So a lot of what Section 80 provides us is that we get the early seedlings of what Kendrick's ultimately going to provide us later on.
Absolutely.
So if anything, we can take this as this is the prequel of what Kendrick's going to do to, like, you know, to the Star Wars nerds out there. This is the prequel to episode 1. This is like the Rogue One Kendrick Lamar to episode 1 Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City.
Right.
And it's not that hot of a take. This is
Mad
like
City.
the lukewarm take. It's not that hot of a take.
What is Good Kid, Mad City? Is that The Empire Strikes Back in this?
It would have to be
analogy,
it would be a new hope. It would be a new hope because we're still because then you end up looking at his effort after Good Kid, Mad City, and you're just like, dude, like,
yeah,
who's stopping him?
Right.
And that's Empire Strikes Back, because Empire Strikes Back in the original trilogy of Star Wars, you're not touching that. This is that's hip hop. This is where we're bridging a lot of analogies and connections.
Right. Which one is Empire Strikes Back to you?
It would have to be To Pimp a Butterfly, because that's when he not only was completely mainstream, but then he got the acclaim, he got the mainstream success, but then he also got the trophies to back it up. That was the first effort he got that got like 5 Grammys or something like that. Like, he really was on. Like, he was succeeding even outside of hip hop by the time To Pimp a Butterfly came out.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Good Kid, Mad City it's my favorite Kendrick album, but I feel like that one was still held near and dear strictly to hip hop. Whereas I feel like by To Pimp a Butterfly, he was gone.
How did he get the Pulitzer Award? How did he get that?
That was To Pimp a Butterfly.
That was from To Pimp a Butterfly.
That got him the Pulitzer, which, I mean, a hip hop album receiving a Pulitzer Prize is insane.
That? Do you guys know like what's really so big? What's the big deal about that?
For the Pulitzer?
Yeah.
Dude, poets of high degree get the Pulitzer.
Yeah, it's really on
like
poetic. It's a very highly regarded writing.
You have to be like top tier, like Shakespeare.
Seriously,
we're talking like if Shakespeare would get a Pulitzer if he actually came into this now with qualifications of the Pulitzer.
Right.
Any other MC that achieved this?
That was the first rap album to ever receive that honor.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
So we're talking the Pulitzer's immortalized into like the Smithsonian. Right? Yeah, that's how tough it is. So Good Kid, Mad City gets that Pulitzer, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now Good Kid, Mad City gets...
No.
To Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah. So To Pimp a Butterfly actually gets immortalized in the fact of like, hey, look, this is a Pulitzer Prize winner. And it actually goes into the Smithsonian, which the Smithsonian is basically the U.S. collection of like all of what we've done so far within America.
That's so crazy though, because there's brilliant MCs out there who have done... amazing lyrical work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just so surprised that this is
the only rap album in there.
The only MC rap album.
Cannabis, we're looking at you, bro. Like,
yeah,
he's got all the
on the serious tip, it's like, you know what? Like, I think that Kendrick Lamar has hit all bases in the fact that like, he satisfied the underground agenda. Mm-hmm. He satisfied the mainstream agenda, and he satisfied the overall hip hop agenda. Yeah. And it's like a triangle. Like, you can only satisfy, if you're really trying to meet the middle on one side, you're only going to get 2. Mm-hmm. But he's actually touched the middle, and he satisfied all 3. So he's literally running the triangle offense.
Yeah.
On hip hop,
how to come back to the triangle somehow.
Yeah. He's running.
Seriously,
he's running the triangle.
Great. Now we got screenshots
Illuminati.
of you doing the triangle.
Yeah, exactly. Mark Flores. He's the only one.
No. I should have the X-Files thing on it.
That's all mystery thing.
Kendrick mentions Illuminati.
But it's like, like he's we don't get a lot of artists like him. He's honestly like he's once, maybe half in a lifetime hip hop artist.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're looking at the occasional Tupac Shakur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before that, you're looking at, we can even argue the KRS One, Rakim,
Right.
Big Daddy Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of those three could have held the mantle.
Right.
In between those two that we've mentioned, Nas could have held that.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's tough.
Rare air.
It's tough. We're literally trying to split hairs into the fact of like, dude, Kendrick tapped into a lot of frequencies that
Very few.
the everyday hip hop MC couldn't do.
You know what's so amazing about this though, that I like just being biased, being over here, is that he's from the West Coast.
Oh, for sure.
That's crazy.
I mean,
Because West Coast
that makes me proud every day.
Isn't known for their lyrical prowess like that.
They're not giving. Yeah, we're not giving the same, high regard for lyricism as, a lot of other artists. But the one of the main ones that you have to give it to is from the West Coast.
That's crazy.
Without question. I mean, even you look at Grammys, not that Grammys define hip hop, but Jay-Z and Kanye are at the top, I think, with like 22. Right under them is Kendrick Lamar with 17. He just passed Eminem at last year's Grammys.
That's a trip, dude.
Dude, that much.
Just imagine that, 17 Grammys.
So he just passed Eminem?
Just passed Eminem. Eminem at 16.
That's a trip.
That is a crazy number. I didn't even think about that.
The only rappers with more Grammys than Kendrick are Jay-Z and
like,
Kanye.
honestly, the number to be satisfied with Grammys would be 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, for sure.
If you're 3 or 4, you're honestly cemented in whatever genre that you're at.
Even one.
I mean, so many with just one. I mean, Nas has one.
Yeah. That is.
And for many years, he had none.
Dude, how is it that Nas has one? And then
one.
That's crazy.
And that came in like 2021.
That's crazy. So just talking about, man, we got so hyped up on Kendrick Lamar. Let's talk about just his style. For you, Mark, when you hear his style, how would you try to break that down? How would you try to like surmise, what does it sound like to you? Or what could you compare it to?
So in our youth, gentlemen, we used to have a lot of templates to establish what would be or who would be like the next coming artist. And that was going to be the XSL magazine's Freshman of the Year covers.
Man.
Correct.
So we look at these covers and we're just going to be taking a look at the various artists that are on there.
Right. Let's go down that list.
And so we're going down that list, and the actual year that we're covering, Ali. Yeah. I want you to actually take the segment on the horns, because the fact is that you actually had the privilege of meeting Kendrick Lamar early on in his career.
What? You did too?
I did. So I actually met him at a meet and greet when he was touring Section 80. So it was this particular album that he was touring. I was living in Houston at the time.
This is the time Ali's going to provide you the photo of that, and you're going to put it into.
You have a photo of it too?
Yeah. Yep. So I'll get you that.
All right.
Yep, I'll get you that.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, it'll be there. It'll be there. But
we're valid. We're valid here on that hip hop.
We're valid. We're real hip hop heads for real.
Got all the props for Kendrick.
Yeah, I actually met all of Black Hippie. So it was Kendrick, Schoolboy Q, Absol, and J Rock.
That's crazy.
The picture
nice.
is me, Kendrick, and J Rock.
Top Dog there or no?
Top wasn't there, nah. He probably was there, but not at the meet and greet. But yeah, so I did get to meet him. Got to, say quick few words. Just, I honestly I said thank you for this album. Like seriously, because before Kendrick, like I've had many favorite rappers, but for me with Kendrick, he was the first rapper that I feel like if I could really rap, if I could really rap, I'd be saying the stuff he's saying. If I had his talent, that's what I would be doing. Like, as far as just his subject matter and him being a guy being, from the street, but not being of the street.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't an active, like, gang member or, like, he didn't speak on that stuff, but he's very privy to that lifestyle based on where he came from.
Yeah.
So, like I said, got to meet him. It was a great time. It was right before the show. I was the third person in line. I was early because I wanted to be back in time for the show. But that was a really good experience.
And
Honestly,
had a shot together.
Fun. Another kind of fun fact too. At that time, I was really active on my social media promoting his stuff to the point where their engineer mixed by Ali. People were thinking it was me.
Damn.
Like, when he would say like, turn me up Ali, or one more take Ali, like he'll say that on the beginning of some of his songs. I had 2 different people we went to school with, like, hey, is that you on those Kendrick Lamar songs?
You should have
I should have took it.
You're like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. I should have said yeah, but
Like, yeah, you coming over?
But I was like, nah. I was like, I had to be honest. My honest side came. I was like, nah, that wasn't me. But no, that whole era, the blog era, was a great time in hip hop. The freshman covers, like Mark mentioned,
coming over.
Yeah, boy.
But no, his year, he was on the 2011 cover.
Okay.
And that year it was with Big Crit, YG, Meek Mill, Mac Miller, Yellow Wolf. Like, it was a lot of heavy hitters.
That's the who's who.
That became future greats as well. Like, that cover really used to mean something back then.
Crazy.
So yeah, I remember those times. And as far as his style, like, for me, I just feel like the only way I can describe his style is just versatile. Like, there's nothing really he can't do. Like, he can spit with the best of them.
Yeah.
He can make commercial records. He's incredible storyteller. To me, he's the total incredible on stage. Like, one of the best performers. Like, he really has no weaknesses. To be honest.
This album,
Kanye level performance.
Seriously, yeah.
This album is going to give you the impression of what we all saw, and that is that Kendrick is a puppy with big paws. And the big paws are eventually going to turn into like, hey, this is a big ass dog.
That's a great comparison.
That's
a good way to put that.
So a couple of the songs that we're going to cover, you're going to see the fact that, hey, look, a lot of the framework of what Swimming Pools is going to be is implemented in a lot of these songs.
You see like the blueprint of like what's going to come.
And you don't get that kind of satisfaction within an artist until you listen to the likes of who we mentioned already, 50 Cent and Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Because at this point, not a lot of people, you're either good on your verses or you're really good on the choruses.
Right.
Yeah.
Young MC for Bust a Move.
Right.
Because it's like, you recognize Bust a Move as the chorus, but you also remember how good the verses.
He was spitting.
You also remember how good the verses were, but you do remember Bust a Move, like the chorus as a whole.
Absolutely.
I just want to put him on the same level in comparison to lyrically in his verses. I feel like he has the depth of an Aesop Rock.
Oh yeah,
he can go there deep. He could be deep. He can be. He could create a labyrinth. Like if Kendrick wanted to create a labyrinth like Aesop Rock, he's the one MC that I could think of that could come close to doing that.
Yeah, I just want those Aesop Rock listeners, because that's like the most popular video that we have.
That's Aesop
Out of
Rock.
all the videos that we have. Peace to all those guys who actually listen and tune in. We appreciate you,
Most
but
def.
it's like, dog, that took us by surprise.
Yeah, it did.
Oh wow, that's good.
We almost wanted to call the show "That's Aesop" instead of hip hop.
That's hip hop.
Another MC that I think of when I hear Kendrick Lamar is Lupe Fiasco. As far as again, just the wording, like the wordplay skills, the highbrow level stuff.
Yeah,
he's on that level.
And think of all the characteristics that we've already applied.
Right.
This is going to be the framework of an artist that is complete. If you're already thinking about Lupe in verses, and then you're thinking about 50 Cent and Ja Rule on the choruses,
I thought Nelly in there too.
What are you missing?
Right.
At that point,
he has the skills of an Eminem. He could switch his tone.
Yes.
Like Eminem, like Nicki Minaj, like Danny Brown. Like he can just switch it up on you.
His voice is absolutely.
And 50 told him to switch the style up. And if they hate, then let them hate and watch the money pile up.
Absolutely.
50 didn't tell every MC to switch their style up.
It's in the gospel.
Not every MC.
That's an unwritten rule in hip hop. Industry rule number 4082.
4082, yeah.
He's Earl Sweatshirt, another one.
Oh yeah.
Like he's on that lyrical level.
Even Lil Wayne to a degree too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, he's on this lyrical tier level.
And even to compete, he understands the competition that he's dealing with at this time, because 2008 Lil Wayne,
forget it.
It
took over.
Dog, like
You couldn't be any bigger.
At this point, you got to understand who you're dealing with as far as what music you're trying to put out.
Right.
You got to understand your competition. You got to understand your surroundings. The Serengeti of hip hop had a lot of fucking alpha lions in the field.
It was dangerous.
You know, so.
All right, so let's talk about this album cover now. So we got section 80, the album cover. I'm going to describe it for those who are listening in on the podcast. So you have looks like a nightstand next to the bed, maybe. Mm-hmm. And on that, he has a lot of stuff that that he might use in his life, or things that are representing or symbolizing things, the lifestyle that he's come up from the 80s, from Generation Y. Those things entail the Holy Bible. There's an Optimo with some weed coming out of it, a lighter. There's some medication pills, prescription pills that might be, taken or showing just the tolerance of medications being taken. There's some jewelry. There's a pipe. There's some mail, and there's a pamphlet that says Section 80. Almost kind of a double play there. Section 8, for just the, the housing community, and then also, but 80 representing the 80s.
80s babies.
80s babies. And then there's some like makeup there. There's like a clip full with some ammo. There's some 20s or, some petty cash there. And then there's this, I don't know if it's a wallet. There's some sort of there's some condoms, I believe.
Yep, it's a pack of condoms.
And something else there in the middle. And then, some books as well. I can't read what those books are, though. Maybe the Laws of Power on one of them. I can't tell.
Yeah, it's hard to make out.
So, and then TDE in the bottom left corner for Top Dog Entertainment. Thoughts about everything we're seeing here?
It's taking you on kind of just a snapshot of the journey of the album.
Yeah.
You're talking about sex, violence, but you got the Bible in there as well. Yeah. So we're talking about somebody that's like definitely got some type of awareness spiritually, even though they may be dealing with some other issues, whether it be drug addiction, violence, being in the gang, maybe a sex addiction. Like, you got all these different avenues that contribute to the highs and lows of our generation. That's kind of how I look at it.
It's crazy how he got all these little minute things that represent such bigger adversities we face in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These are like just minimal things that like somehow represent these big themes.
Oh, I know that book.
Oh, what is it?
That's the book that's under the Bible?
Yeah.
That's the Art of Seduction.
Art of Seduction, yeah.
Art of Seduction, Robert Greene.
I know that cover.
Now, I don't know that book. I didn't read that book.
All of a sudden,
ladies, I didn't read that.
Yep. I've seen that before.
Don't read into it. But I just know it. That's the Art of Seduction, Robert Greene.
Crazy.
Ali told me that.
Before the show.
I know, before the show. Yeah, I mean, so on the serious tip, the Art of Seduction is pretty much like the 48 Laws of Power. It's going to give you
like you know a lot about it.
Hey, I mean, a thing or two, Yeah. I didn't.
No Diddy.
So, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's the Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, but the same author of the 48 Laws of Power.
Okay, this is the same author. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's a book that just gives you historical examples of when high figures in history, use their art of seduction to either, entice historical figures to persuade them to do whatever.
That's kind of on the theme of To Pimp a Butterfly, because he was talking about the influence of your power. Like, are you going to use your power for good or bad?
Yeah.
That's interesting that theme kind of carries over.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for lending me that book, Isaiah.
You still have that book, right? Anyways,
I put the blame on Ali and then you.
Everybody but Mark
but you
has
described it.
Yeah, but he's just the one that described it.
Oh, I know the book.
So overall, this reminds me of I think even Lupe Fiasco did something on Food and Liquor. He had things that represented his life.
Mm-hmm.
What else did he have? He had like the Quran.
Yeah, everything in the background for sure. Yeah.
He had like a sidekick. He had the sidekick on there.
Even in the cool, you could see that he still had
a Tamagotchi. I think he had or something. I don't
Well, I was saying even in the cool, like you could see the Arabic writing that he had as well in the background. So it was like there's a lot of attributes of like, you want to, in each album cover that you do, if you really want to put your idea across, you're gonna have things that have influenced you, and you don't put those things into the frame.
Very theatrical too.
Unless you're really behind those ideas. Mm-hmm. So with the Holy Bible and the Art of Seduction, I mean, like, hey, look, like even seduction, what reels the audience in,
right?
What entices the audience besides, like
choose your vice. Choose your vice.
Correct.
Right.
Like this, we have a shotgun shell here. We got a metal jacket of bullets there. It's gonna be. You got the Jimmy hats too. I mean, like, what are we gonna do? Like,
right? You're gonna get in some debauchery.
He's
you're gonna
literally
get in some crime, maybe. Like,
he's literally giving you the variety pack of what's gonna entice you.
Yeah.
Right. And it's very. I was gonna say it's very theatrical. Even the just the HD nature of it, and the color tint, like it all feels like it's in a movie.
Yeah.
So and then that's one thing about Kendrick Lamar I wanted to mention. Very cinematic.
Oh, for sure.
When you listen to his albums, you feel like they could become plays later on.
Absolutely.
Like they feel like, how Master Ace is starting to do like scripts and all that from his albums. Like it feels like it's in that realm where Kendrick Lamar could even later do something like that.
Right.
So I think that was also dope. I was trying to think of the play that's really famous. That
Hamilton.
Yeah. On that level, but as an MC though.
Yeah.
Because Hamilton's a bit different because he's not really like an MC. He's kind of like a little bit on the edge of that, but Kendrick is a full-on MC.
Homeboy's bringing hip hop to the mainstream, which is cool.
Yeah.
So Hamilton,
Mark has his
Hamilton's
most
getting Hamilton's getting his prop.
It's like if Drake is hip hop to you, what I mean?
I like I mentioned before, it's like I'd rather have someone from the hip hop scene bring Hamilton to the forefront versus like homeboy that's done Moana and like whatever.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
So yeah.
So dope album cover, pretty simple, but very like deep at the same time.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, especially like in you with me, it touches the variety pack of like if you're going to be street level, and then even if you go to the other extreme of the Bible and to the Art of Seduction, like you touch the people that are actually like beyond what they actually see down here, because you literally have the bullets here, the shotgun shell. Or you either have the Holy Bible or the Art of Seduction.
A lot going on. And it could even seem a bit like conflicting, different things. You have the Bible, but then yet you have a gun or you have condoms.
Right.
There's it's very conflicted
Mm-hmm.
because there's some good, as far as good nature there, but it's just where you're surrounded at, you kind of have to adapt. So I think it was just a dope cover for like it being your debut album. Did Dr. Dre have any touches on this?
None. He hadn't even met him yet, I don't think.
Okay.
I think this is the album that made Dre like, I got to find this kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure on that because I thought that Dr. Dre had some influence here, but I didn't
Dr.
see
Dre
him as a
shakes
producer.
his hand. He's like, this is a good kid in a very mad city.
All prophetic.
Around the Good Kid, Mad City time is when Dre kind of had some influence.
Okay.
This is before Dre.
Okay. So we're going to touch on, before we continue on with the show, for those who don't know, we usually dive deep into 3 songs that we choose from the album to our liking. We do it democratically. We vote, and see which one makes it to that ends up winning the vote. So it's not usually unanimous all the time. Sometimes it has to get like whittled down to like, okay, what are we choosing?
Yeah, sometimes we got to scrap for the last song.
We got to scrap and battle for it. So we chose 3 songs that are going to be talked about today, which is going to be ADHD, Rigor Mortis, and High Power.
Yeah.
And this is a good time just to segue and talk a bit about, if you enjoyed the show this far, if you like, what we're doing, if you see the rest of our channel, we're talking all about hip hop and not even just about albums. Ali even brought up a great idea to talk about some other things hip hop related. Please make sure you subscribe to the show. Make sure that you like the video you're watching. Make sure you leave a comment. And, if you have your own opinions about, one of the things that we're talking about, we really read the comments and we'll reply to you. So make sure that you go ahead and do that.
Absolutely.
So we are going into ADHD.
Yes.
I just want to talk about really quick first few tracks. Fuck Your Ethnicity, dope track, great start to this. The beat was amazing. The beat was what really drew me in. I liked even just the jazz sound to it a bit.
Yeah.
There's jazz funk in there. Sick. I love it, man. And I think Kendrick also has a bit of this jazz element to him too, which is also pretty nice. He can rap over jazz, straight up jazz shit. He can rap
versatility for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I love that about him. Hold Up was also cool. Very catchy, with the hooks, like you mentioned that with the 50 Cent thing, very catchy.
Yes.
His hooks are some of the greatest hooks where you just find yourself repeating it again. So very dope at that. Then we land at ADHD. ADHD, touches on one aspect of what we were looking at on the album cover, where it discusses the drug culture that has permeated his generation, particularly the effects of recreational use from prescription drugs, linking it to broader themes of escapism and disaffection. So I thought that already we're getting something deep, but he's talking about it almost at a practical level, but it's a bigger theme. I think that in itself is pretty dope. And I noticed that's a continuing theme with him is he touches on a lot of emotions, themes, concepts. That's what I was talking about. Depth. He has depth.
Yeah, absolutely. When we talk about the early seedlings of what he would do to create phenomenal singles,
right?
This is going to be the framework for that.
Yes.
Yep. Fuck that. 8 doobies to the face. Fuck that. 12 bottles in the case. Fuck that. 2 pills and half weight. Fuck that. Got high tolerance when you age. Don't exist. Verse 1, Kendrick Lamar. Man, I swear, tripping off that shit again. Pick him up, then I set him in cold water. Then I order someone to bring him Vicodin. Hope that take the pain away from feeling that he feel today. When you put part of Section 80, you feel like no one can relate because you are a loner. Marijuana, endorphins make you stronger. I'm in the house party tipping off. My generation sipping cough syrup like it's water.
The imagery, he's really setting the scene with this. Yep. He's in a party and he's looking around and seeing everybody tripping off drugs or sipping alcohol.
Yeah, in 2011, that's all you're gonna see. Prime time, teenage years. This is what we're watching. We're what
parents
at least 20. We're at least 20. We're all at least 22, 23,
22. Yeah, 23 in that time.
So we're seeing it too. We're not. We're no stranger to that.
Nope.
Yeah, you already see Vicodin makes its way into the house.
Yeah, he like a little tribute to Eminem.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then also just, you see that the idea is that they're taking this because they're hoping the pain goes away. So they're kind of subject to this just from where they're, where they're living. So I left off on, because you are a loner, marijuana, endorphins make you stronger. I'm in the house party tipping off. My generation sipping cough syrup like it's water. Never no pancakes in the kitchen. Man, now not one of our lives is caught up in the daily superstition that the world's about to end. Who gives a fuck? We never do listen, unless it comes with the 808, a melody, and some hoes.
So as long as we have a good catchy melody, we'll listen to what you got to say.
Whatever it is.
We'll listen to whatever it is. It doesn't matter what you're saying.
So it's kind of an allusion to 808s and heartbreaks.
Yeah.
Interesting. Less it comes with an 808, a melody, and some hoes, PlayStation, and some drink. Technology box my soul. Looking around, and all I see is a big crowd that's product of me. And they probably relatives relevant for a rebel's dream. Yep. Her president is black. She black too. Purple label on her black. But the tab is light blue. she'd take it straight to the head. Then look at me, she got ADHD.
So 3 years into the Barack Obama administration.
Yep.
So alluding to the fact that, hey, look, our president's black.
I like I like the part, even just how we talked about the melodies. He's like, he said, let's it come with an 808. Then he goes, a melody and some hoes, PlayStation and some drink, technology bought my soul. Like that, those vocal inflections, it makes you feel those words.
That's the one thing about him is that he is big on that. And I forgot another artist that he also reminded me of in comparison, Madlib. You know how Madlib switches it up, Quasimodo, whole other identity. But then he could go, back to deep. And man, that I saw just such a, and that's why Kendrick Lamar is so great, is because all these MCs that I mentioned, you hear all of them within Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. So with ADHD though, how does that relate to ADHD now? The connection there.
Well, I mean, ADHD was heavily is one of those things that kids were diagnosed with, when you're younger. A lot of times somebody just having a lot of energy, but they would diagnose them with ADHD. And then from there, you taking all these drugs to try to take them down. And next thing you know, you developing 13, 14-year-old drug addicts.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where you have that. I mean, obviously there are people that legitimately have ADHD, but I do believe like a lot of it was just, sometimes a kid that's just got a lot of energy, they diagnose them with ADHD, they put them in these special classes, and then next thing you know, they got them taking all these drugs, and boom. Now, like I said, by the time they're 16, they're fiends.
Now I think of it as like the big one is like anxiety. I feel like that's
it's even a lot of the teachers around my time in elementary try to qualify me as an ADHD student.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
So like they actually had me going through like the EG tests and like actually like scanning my brainwaves and shit.
Wow.
And then when they suggested that I actually would like, hey, we should slap ADHD medication on him, my mom was like, fuck that. Like,
That's
doing that.
crazy.
Like, so peace to you, Elsa. Thank you, moms
out there.
Thanks to you for like actually putting some semblance of like, yeah, this guy's actually smart as fuck. And he's not trying to do everything like that.
Yeah.
And then there's a post-chorus part here from Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. So like the post-chorus is even actually adding into, again, not a lot of artists do that. His range in this chorus is beyond what the average MC will do.
I mean, this is a setup for the stage. Like this is for the concert. Like when this part comes on, like
Ali,
the whole room
Take
is going off. You know what I mean? Like whoa.
So yeah, and this
everybody's going.
So like adding into the factor of like, hey, look, when I take this live, I want crowd interaction.
Right.
And we know as a true MC,
you got to move the crowd.
Need that.
Move the crowd.
Because MC means move the crowd.
Exactly. Again, I'm going to reference now Public Enemy now into him. Naughty by Nature. Thinking of the crowd. Rakim.
Absolutely.
Isaiah, those are our 2 previous episodes that they should like and
y'all
subscribe
should go
to.
check out, by the way.
Because it takes a nation of millions to subscribe to us.
We could use that. I'll go ahead and do verse 2.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Hold on. Not Soulja Boy. Flavor Flav's going to come on. Soulja Boy. Oh, I thought he was. I guess not.
Well, hit it again.
It's too late now. Wait. Where's he at? So he doesn't want to.
Boy.
There we go.
Yeah. There we go.
Flav in the building. All
right,
all right, let's go. I'm going to do verse 2. He goes, and then she started feeling herself like no one else in this apartment. Beg your pardon. Oh, I rap, baby. How old are you? She say 22. I say 23. Okay, then we are crack babies. Damn, why you say that? She said, where my drink at? I'm going to tell you later. Just tell your neighbors and the police relax. I stood up, shut the blind, closed the stream, jumbotron, made to the back where she reside. Then she said, we're between the lines. Yep. Like, just the breakdown and how he
spit
you for
that. Almost doing it similar.
I tried.
I was gonna say Ali Dot. I'm gonna start calling him Ali Dot.
I was trying to nail it how he did.
What do you think as a fan hearing that?
Oh, I mean, it was just perfect delivery, cadence.
Yeah, the cadence is really.
He really
it's so
was
different too. It's so unique.
We don't get that in artists around 2011. We don't get that.
No. And he's like telling the story. He's playing both characters. He's giving you the right pauses to throw those words in. Like he really he nailed that perfectly.
How old is he around this time? What
23.
Is he? Oh yeah, so like,
23.
dude, being 23 years old, being able to like
23 is young.
and to reference like impactful albums because we're going on the 30th anniversary of Illmatic.
Yep.
Exactly.
Nas is 1920 when Illmatic comes out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I always like predating Paid in Full because by the years, Rakim is 18, 19 when Paid in Full comes out.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, like you're getting like impactful artists around this time early in their careers.
Early.
But to me, I'm like with what Rakim and Nas already established as far as like, oh, dude, these guys are the precedent. Dude, Kendrick's taking this and like taking it to another level.
He's running with
that same blueprint.
The mantle of that.
Absolutely. Because I'm gonna tell you later. Just tell the neighbors and the police relax. I stood up, shut the blind, closed the stream, jumbotron, made it to the back where she resides. Then she said, "We're between the lines." Yep. Hope that I get close enough when the lights turn down, and the fact that she just might open up when the noodles start to drown. Her body and I know that both of us.
Syllables there.
Yeah. Her body and I know the both of us really deep in the mood now. It's nothing we can do now. Somebody walked in with a pound. Whoa. Off of Bay Area Kush. She looked at me, then looked at it, then she grabbed it, then she said, "Get it understood. You know why we crack babies? Because we born in the 80s. That ADHD crazy." Like
born in the 80s, the ADHD crazy. That little
yeah, we crack babies. Yep.
Iteration.
Born in the
there,
80s.
iteration.
Yep, the ADHD crazy. Like he just summed up those ills of our generation. Again, that's when they started doing the whole ADHD thing, like how Mark just brought up. Like that was coming from that era, from Generation Y. This is literally our generation. So that's why it was so impactful for me, for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And also, what was the latest epidemic drug-wise? Opium? Or
opium and fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
Ecstasy was kind of big.
we might have. We might have. Oh yeah.
Norco.
So around this time, it's gonna be Molly.
The Molly era.
Norco. Yeah.
Lean.
But it's crazy. Like you see like how relevant that is still to this day.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like it still seems to be like a pattern there, which is interesting.
For sure.
So that's why, again, this stays relevant because until it changes, I mean, it's gonna always
There'll be a new one.
Yeah, we're gonna always have this.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 3, you wanna? Oh, is there a verse 3 on this one? Just 2.
He just has
Okay,
the two
because he has
verses
a
and
post chorus as well,
Mm-hmm.
and then he has the outro with Absol. So that was pretty cool. Like Absol, him, Schoolboy Q.
Make sure they
Jay,
collabed heavy back then for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. That they kind of stuck together and were really tight.
Yeah.
So that was pretty dope. And that's also Top Dog is the first guy that like actually saw the talent in Kendrick and decided like, yo, I want to sign you.
Absolutely.
So peace to him for recognizing that talent early as well.
Early,
for sure.
And they still seem like they're pretty tight as far as what I believe on there. So we go on to the next track. Before we do that, there's 2 tracks here that are like kind of coupled together. The No Makeup. Her Vice, along with Tammy's song, Her Evils. So just talking about like, how women use makeup to cover these emotional scars.
Yep.
And then tying that with the 5th track, Tammy's song, which is, about like just getting done dirty, by relationships and that causing the emotional scar where it ends up leading you to cover up with the makeup and stuff, so peace to Kendrick Lamar for like diving into these, big, deeper themes. And, it's also a track for the ladies to even get on this higher plane of thought to heal. So that,
yes,
usually I don't feel like a lot of ladies like this lyrical content because it's really for MCs, So if you're an MC, you probably like it, but it's crazy that he offers even something for that audience.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Chapter 6 was like an interlude. You got the Reaganomics.
Oh yeah,
era,
Ronald Reagan era. Oh,
again to the
man.
80s.
Yeah, I'm
you know?
surprised that he was able to tap in and actually provide context on that. 'Cause
Right.
It's, it's something that actually predates him.
It's such
Right.
such a big theme to try to like pin down. Sometimes things like that feel like this big hill as a writer that you have to climb to try to like how do I encapsulate this idea onto a track?
Right.
Yeah,
So that big ups to him for accomplishing.
because the main thing about Reaganomics is that like to give a summation about it is that
yeah, let's hear your political views on it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get political on that tip up. No,
get political.
I mean, what ended up happening with Reaganomics is like,
politics.
that's politics, Hop. We have, like Ronald Reagan promised that like the trickle effect of like giving a lot of bonuses and advantages to the top
down,
to the top companies would give a trickle down effect to the middle class, and that didn't end up happening. And now we're at the point where we're still trying to recuperate from that.
Yep.
Well, allegedly it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a podcast for another day. So yeah, trust me. Yeah. So it's cool that Kendrick, despite not being around during this time of the trickle down economics of that,
The Reaganomics, yep.
He's able to provide still a perspective on it.
Yeah, exactly. And then it goes into Poor Man's
That's
Dream.
politics.
That's politics. If you want that, check out the Deep End. So then we go into the Poor Man's Theme, which is also another dope track, and it goes into His Vice. So that's cool. Spiteful Chant. There's a lot of great
That's an
tracks.
anthem.
This Spiteful Chant
Was
was one of the ones I wanted to say is going to be an honorable mention for me.
It's an anthem.
Chapter 10, and then Keisha's song, Her Pain.
That was another deep one.
So yeah, that one's another deep one. A lot of them were deep here. And we land on Rigor Mortis, which...
One thought real quick.
Go ahead.
I love the placement of Rigor Mortis right after Keisha's song, because that song is deep. It's sad. It takes you to a very low point, and then as soon as that song's over, you hear the horns for Rigor Mortis, and it kind of lightens the mood a little bit.
You're right.
Brings you back up.
You're right.
And this song is one of the really, I would say it's the only song that really isn't about anything. He's just showing you I'm nice. Rigor Mortis is the one song for everybody. Okay, I'm saying all this deep stuff. This one, I'm just about to rap my ass off.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he's doing on Rigor Mortis. That's what I love about this song so much.
Mark, I'm drawing a blank on the names here. The producer that produced Clips early on,
Pharrell Williams?
Pharrell. I saw Pharrell giving him
Well, the
props.
Neptunes. Let's do the Neptunes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Neptunes.
They'll get...
Yeah, but I'm talking about Pharrell. But yes.
They're going to be like, that's hip hop got their information wrong. They're not perfect podcasters.
Right.
Sounds like The Simpsons.
No, trust me. They're going to give you that shit.
Sounds like a character, though. You just mimicked a character from
They'll
The
do
Simpsons.
that.
But yes, Pharrell was giving him props. He was just like, yo, that joint, who produced that joint? Imagine the producer, because the producer was the producer was in the room too.
Yeah.
He was like, man, thanks, bro. Thanks, G. Like, they dapped it up.
That's dope.
So yeah, he got some love from Pharrell on that one. He was like, we were bumping this in Japan, man, all over. So that's pretty dope.
It actually has a remix with Busta Rhymes, which is insane.
Really?
Oh,
Wow. Busta Rhymes is everywhere, dude.
insane.
Busta Rhymes is everywhere.
Yeah.
Bossa Bus.
Busta Bus. So Rigor Mortis is going to be our second choice. All right, here we go. Third take real quick. Ali, we'll leave it to you. Since it mentions you, we'll leave it. We'll give you the chorus and the verse.
Yeah, since you
I
provided.
I'll do verse one. All
right.
All right. He goes. Got me breathing with dragons. I'll crack the egg in your basket, you bastard. I'm Marilyn Manson with madness. Now just imagine the magic. I like to ask is don't ask for your favorite rapper. He dead.
Stop it.
Amen.
That's for your favorite rapper. He
Like,
did.
Insane. I'm like, what is this? I still remember my first time hearing it. I was just like, oh, this about to be one of those. Like, and he just, and this is Rigor Mortis, and it's gorgeous when you die. Ali recorded it. I'm Morpheus, the Matrix in my mind. I'm out of orbit. You an orphan and a hairdresser combined. I'm on the toilet when I rhyme. If you the shit, then I decline.
Now this is very Eminem-esque.
Yeah. Oh,
right
for
here.
sure.
Yeah,
Speed flow, heavy, holding a rhyme scheme. Like, he just really took it there.
The lyrical ability, but he's just taking the back seat and he's super slow with it.
Right. Yeah, man.
And he's like, I'm out the orbit.
And this beat is crazy.
Nuts.
So
it's just a horn. The horns are just going. Yep. Crazy. Yeah. He's like, I'm out the orbit, you an orphan and a hairdresser combined. I'm on the toilet when I rhyme. If you the shit, then I decline. I climax when you begin, and then I end on cloud 9. And that's important when you morph into an
when you begin.
I climax where you begin. Man. Like, where you started, I'm already ending. Like, crazy.
And then I end on cloud 9.
And then I end on cloud 9, and that's important. And that's important when you morph into an angel in the sky. And don't be forging all my signatures. My listeners reply and tell me that you biting style. You got a hell of an appetite. Come on. Like, and I'm gonna be here for a while. Just buckle up before the ride.
I like that because you talked about angels, and then he goes into that's a hell of an appetite. That's pretty crazy. Yep. He went from the sky now to hell.
Right. Yep. The depths. Yep. And I'm going to be here for a while. Just buckle up before the ride or knuckle up if you can fight. We always making them duck or die. A suit and tie is suitable and usual in suicide. CSI just might investigate this fucking parasite. He dead. Like, nuts.
He dead. So not only is your favorite rapper dead, but your current rapper is dead now.
All of them. You killing them all.
Yo.
He dead.
Man.
Amen. That's what they telling me. Amen at your celebrity. This is studio felony. Farrah got me for so many and cool enough for the 70s.
Aim it at your celebrity.
This is studio felony. Like, what? Farrah got me so many and cool enough for the 70s. Payback's a bitch, and bitch, you been living in debt with me. Dead them all in especially. Leave a call on his mother voicemail that said Eddie recipes. Bigger chopper the recipe.
Very cannabis-esque.
Oh, yeah.
Battle style, yeah.
Nuts. Dead them all in especially. Leave a call on his mother voicemail that said Eddie recipes.
See that? Leave a call on his mother's voicemail. That's
Nuts.
Crazy.
Bigger chopper the recipe. Wrestling, that's irrelevant. Rather rest at your residence. Whistling to the melody. Couldn't think of a better D. Better be on your P and Q. It's just me, J Rock, Soul and Q.
And he goes off the fucking letter. He goes off the letter rhyme scheme.
Like, what?
Better D, better be on your P and Q. It's just me, J Rock, Soul and Q.
Solar system and barbecue. Nothing else you can do. He dead. Like, unbelievable. He just, it's like water.
Yeah.
He kept the same flow the entire song.
Yeah.
Like, that's the insane part about it.
And keeping the same chorus into verse 2, he's like,
Yep.
I rapped him and I made him Casper. I captured the likes of NASA. So the entire span of space, whatever NASA can capture, he's got
all of it.
He's captured it because he's rapped him and made him Casper. I captured the likes of NASA. My pedigree to fly past, I passed the weed to the pastor.
Nuts.
I like the that scheme of Astra. He's
running
on the Casper, NASA, pedigree, pastor.
I pass the weed to the pastor. We all sinners. Won't you send us the Bible study faster? Your hypocrisy's reaction of blasphemy, I assassin my casualty.
Yeah, he's going on another tier right here.
And this is where it gets on the cannabis tip that you're talking about. Yeah. And then he's like, well, okay. So my pedigree up the fly pasture. I pass the weed to the pasture. We're all sinners. Won't you send the Bible study faster? Your hypocrisy's reaction to blasphemy, I assassin my casualty. It is casually done, and I tell him my salary come to lump sum 100s. Don't talk to me about no money. The sun is under my feet, and I come to peace and to complete. If I don't run to rather leap, my statistics go up in weeks.
Wow.
And I go to visit the nearest creek. I get busy to many MCs. I get busy on many MCs.
But just the fact that he's visiting the nearest creek is pretty
dumping
sick.
Bodies in there.
That's pretty sick. Yeah.
Really ballistic. Anybody can see any assistance. Everybody deceased.
Everybody.
Yeah,
some persistence.
Now just everybody.
Everybody. It went from your favorite rapper, the current rappers, to everybody.
Everybody's dead now.
Some persistence. Recognize I be really too vicious, the permanent beast. And the demolition breaking up to the street. Better partition. Better dot your T's. So peace to the
K-dot.
Peace to his K-dot. And gonna mention how far you see. Putting my dick in the rap industry. Everybody bitching, getting mad at me. Recognize Kendrick in the battery. And I'm charged up. And the catastrophe is charged up. And the audacity of you fucks can never hassle me. Or never could hassle me. And y'all luck just ran out.
You'll see. He
so,
dead.
dude. So at this point, You're not gonna fuck with them lyrically.
Nope.
This is the early seedlings of the fact that like
We have to.
Yeah.
This one.
Nuts.
It's off the charts.
yes.
And he was going fat. I mean, those last 8 bars.
In 2011, no
flying.
one's touching him lyrically,
No.
and this is crazy because the fact is he's what 23, like you
23.
meant, 23 years old.
That track alone.
Crazy.
That track alone, I think, sets him apart.
Nuts.
Just that track alone.
Like
And that's not even a single.
No, that was just. I mean, he did shoot a video for it, but it wasn't released as a single. It was just an album cut. Just like I said, this was the one song. Everything else was deep, got a message, a story, whatever.
Yeah.
This one is just I'm nice. None of y'all messing with me.
Every
Like,
rapper got one of those.
Yep,
on the
I love when rappers do that. Like I love having messages and stories. It's all great, but give me one where you just going off.
Yep.
And this was the one for him.
Man,
Loved it.
So,
Loved it.
So after that behemoth, we go
Right?
We go into Kush and Corinthians.
Oh, that was a deep
this
one,
track
too.
explores moral dilemmas and the battles between good and evil. I mean, that's something that Kendrick Lamar has been like, constantly.
Oh yeah, he does that on every
even
project.
Up to Mr. Morale.
Yep.
Morale in itself.
Mm-hmm.
He's battling that still, even through all of his albums.
All of them. Damn.
Yeah. Pimple Butterfly.
Yep, he's always giving you that duality.
That part of him reminds me of Kanye because Kanye kind of deals with that too. That that battle.
Definitely.
So then we go into members only. This was one of the honorable mentions I wanted to put up there because this one gives you that early seedling of like summer pool.
Yeah, swimming pools for sure.
Swimming pool, there you go.
For sure.
Swimming pool, like it gives you that early blueprint of what that's going to be like.
Right.
So that was dope. I like the fact that he delves into like Left Eye and Aaliyah and giving them respects and
The
peace.
samples Aaliyah.
Yeah, so that's sick. Then we go into Absol's outro.
Yep.
It's a jazz-infused track that dives into this existential theme, questioning the nature of reality. And then we land on High Power, which is his single off of this album. And very just memorable. I don't know where I heard this track from. I heard it somewhere, though. I know that. So we land to High Power, which is his closing track, produced by J. Cole.
Yep.
J. Cole made this beat.
You selected this track on purpose. You're trying to start.
No, I didn't. I swear. I just barely found out right now. So it introduces the concept of high power, a movement Kendrick advocates for overcoming societal and self-imposed limitations. It's a call to action for spiritual empowerment and consciousness. Remember, Kendrick is one of those artists, and we just had Public Enemy episode, who touches on that, man. Like he gets political. He's one of those MCs that like he checks all the boxes.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So we're going to High Power. I don't know if one of you guys want to start off on the verse.
I'll do the first one.
All right.
So I like the intro too. I'm gonna do that. He goes, everybody put 3 fingers in the air. The sky is falling, the wind is calling, stand for something to die in the morning. Section 80, High Power.
I didn't even know J. Cole makes beats either.
Oh
so that's another
yeah.
thing.
His earlier projects, he produced all of it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Oh,
J. Cole's like first probably 2 albums, he did all the beats.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy, man.
But here he goes. Visions of Martin Luther staring at me. Malcolm X put a hex on my future. Someone catch me. Like just that alone.
The MLK and Malcolm X
Out the
contrast
gate.
is already
Out the gate. And he goes, Malcolm X put a hex on my future. Someone catch me. I'm falling victim to a revolutionary song. The Serengeti's clone. Back to put you backstabbers back on your spinal bone. You slipped your disc when you slipped my disc. You wanted to diss but jumped on my dick. Grown men should never bite their tongue unless you eating pussy that smell like it's a stale plum. I got my finger on the motherfucking pistol, aiming it at a pig. Charlotte's Web is gonna miss you. My issue isn't televised. You ain't gotta tell the wise how to stay on beat because our life's an instrumental. This is physical and mental. I won't sugarcoat it. You die from diabetes if these other niggas wrote it. And everything on TV just a figment of imagination. I don't want a plastic nation. Dread that like a Haitian. While you motherfuckers waiting, I'll be off the slave ship, building pyramids, writing my own hieroglyphs. Like, just, this is crazy.
Yeah.
The imagery, the descriptive nature of how he's writing, the double meanings. I mean, I'll be off the slave ship, building my own pyramids, writing my own hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need how y'all trying to march through society and tell me how to move. No, I'm going to build pyramids on my own and write the hieroglyphs. Like, and then I even just like the other, like the double meaning he mentioned before. He said, I got my finger on the motherfucking pistol, aiming it at a pig. Charlotte's Web is going to miss you. Like, the pig in Charlotte's Web, like that. And then he's also talking about, you know, shooting, he's like, aiming it at a cop. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm gonna aim it this time.
Just the double there.
Yeah, it's like, instead of you guys, y'all always shooting us and beating us. No, I'm aiming the pistol this time.
He talks about the backstabbers in this verse. He says, back to put you backstabbers back on your spinal bone.
I love when rappers do stuff like that. Like, he knew how to really play with those words.
Yeah. And just look at that iteration. Back to put your backstabbers back on your spinal bone, like the pronunciation.
So he still ties up your back, even though he didn't say back for a fourth time.
And I love how he plays on disc. So you slipped your disc when I slid you my disc.
Like, what? You slipped when I slid you my disc. You wanted the disc, but jumped on my dick.
Yeah.
Like, that is insane.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Grown men never bite their tongue. And that's just so prophetic again to J. Cole.
Yeah. Kinda. He kind of told the future.
I don't know if you guys seen that meme. There's a verse, I forgot on which track, but it's like basically like talking about everything J. Cole did.
Oh, damn.
On the apology. That's kind of crazy, where he was like basically saying like, you know, don't diss me or name me and then go back and say, oh no, you know, I was just kidding, Kendrick.
Oh yeah, I think that was on the Heart Part 4. I think that's on the Heart Part 4. I have to look that up.
Yeah.
But because he's like, oh, I'm sorry, K-Dot, I ain't mean that, bro. I think he said something like that on this song. I gotta look that up, but I think that's the song he does.
And that's the thing that a lot of people call him. Like, one of the things we were saying earlier in the beginning of the intro was like he was like this deemed as savior. But another element to him is they're deeming him like even as a prophet, like like a Nostradamus type of MC. You know, I think Kendrick has that element to him as well.
And then I like how then he does in the chorus. He goes, "Just call this shit high power, and nothing less than high power. 5-star dishes, food for thought, bitches. I mean, this shit is Huey Newton going stupid. You can't resist his high power. Throw your hands up for high power." So you got the Black Panther mention with Huey Newton, like. He's taking it there. He's taking it there.
Verse 2, visions of Martin Luther staring at me. If I see it how he seen it, he would my parents that would make my parents happy.
Yep.
Sorry, mama, I can't turn the other cheek. They want to knock me off my edge like I'm fucking Windows Peak. Widow's Peak, excuse me. Wow, that's just crazy how deep he's going into all this.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like. If you actually have the widow's peak, like you're never like taking
Vegeta's.
You're never taking the edge off because like that's always going to remain. If you have a widow's peak, peace to you because you'll always have your hair and shit. Like Vegeta's because especially Vegeta, you're going to have the ultimate fucking widow's peak.
Yes.
Kakarot.
The king of widow's peak.
And she always told me pray for the weak. Them demons got me. I prayed in some weeks. Dear Lord, come save me. The devil's working hard. He probably clocking double shifts on all of his jobs. Frightening, so fucking frightening. Enough to drive a man insane. I need a license to kill. I'm standing on a field full of landmines, doing the moonwalk, hoping I blow up in time. Man. 2012 might not be a fucking legend. Trying being a fucking legend. The man of mankind. Who said a black man in the Illuminati? Last time I checked, that was the biggest racist party. So get up off the slave ship, build your own pyramids, write your own hieroglyphs.
Oh, man. I mean, there was so much there. Like,
build your own pyramids, like you were saying, is like such a...
He said, I'm standing on a field full of landmines, doing the moonwalk, hoping I blow up in time. Like, that is just...
Waiting to get it set off.
I'm waiting to blow up. Like, that is crazy. Then because 2012 might not be a fucking legend. Like, this is around the time, you know, everybody thinking the world might end in 2012. And,
that's right.
You know what I mean? So that was a big thing. So he threw that in there.
And then also, too, when you're talking about the 80s, who's big in the 80s?
Michael Jackson. Absolutely.
Moonwalk, Michael Jackson.
Most definitely.
Tying back to the 80s still, too. So that's also dope. What else is it saying here? License to Kill. I'm still on the field. Yeah,
We have some 007 shit.
Yeah.
License to Kill.
Right. Ooh, yep. You're right. And then the fact that he brought up the Illuminati.
Yep. That was a big thing
Yeah.
around that time.
Around
like,
that time, that was a
I
big
would
thing.
say 09 to like 2012-ish.
Saying Jay-Z
You
was
had
a
a
part of
million
Illuminati.
YouTube videos
Yeah.
claiming everybody was in Illuminati. So that was a really, really big
The
thing.
biggest one that they were saying it was in Illuminati was Jay-Z.
Jay-Z,
was a big
yep.
one. That
Jay
they
and
were saying
Kanye, but
Illuminati.
Jay-Z for sure.
So Kendrick's addressing that. Last time I checked, that was the biggest racist party. How are we in the Illuminati?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's crazy.
Right.
But to build your pyramids, write your own hieroglyphs. I mean, we know in Egypt that whole civilization was smart because they built something that till this day we still haven't figured out how they did that in that time.
It's one of the 8 wonders of the world still standing. It's
Right.
the last one.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Verse 3.
Yeah, verse 3.
Who said a black man in the Illuminati? Last time I checked, that was the biggest racist party. Last time I checked, we was racing with Marcus Garvey. On the freeway to Africa till I wrecked my Audi.
Oh, man.
And I want everybody to view my autopsy so you can see exactly where the government has shot me. No conspiracy. So he's, at this point, 23 years old, already predicting like, hey, look,
Right,
like
exactly.
if I'm still on my like political tip, they're gonna kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that again to the conspiracy thing, JFK. That it all ties.
Damn,
with that.
see, you
Absolutely.
calling the tough shots right there, Zay. No conspiracy. My fate is inevitable to play musical chairs once I'm on the pedestal. Frightening, so fucking frightening. Enough to drive a man insane, a woman insane. The reason Lauryn Hill don't sing or Kurt Cobain loaded the clip.
That line was crazy.
And then said, "Bang!" Kurt Cobain gets the shotgun loaded.
Yeah.
Dude, he pulled the trigger with his fucking thumb. Well, his thumb, his big toe.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Kurt Cobain loaded the clip and said, "Bang! The drama it brings is crazy. Product of the late '80s. Peace to Section 80.
Yep. Again, to the
Trying
whole
to
thing.
stay above water. That's why they shunned the Navy." Oh, dog. You know, like, if you ever talk to a black OG, like, they're going to tell you, hey, I'm trying to stay above water.
Yeah.
Like, you shake their hand, like, how you doing? Hey, I'm trying to stay above water.
man.
Yeah, that's a phrase.
Just
Yeah.
trying to make it, man.
Trying to stay above water. Trying to
it.
stay above water. That's why we shun the Navy. Pull your guns and play me. Let's set it off. Cause a riot. Throw a Molotov cocktail. To everyone familiar with the Rockstar games, peace to Grand Theft Auto 3
Oh, yeah.
for showing you what,
Yeah,
what a
most
Molotov cocktail is. Somebody told me pirates had got lost because we've been off them slave ships, got our own pyramids, write our own hieroglyphs. You know, you could attribute to the pirates, to the people pirating albums, Pirate Bay.
Yeah. And I love that too because then at this point, like now Kendrick is starting to realize his identity.
Oh, yeah.
And that took a shift. I feel like where him speaking about that, I feel like others started realizing their identity.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is huge. If I saw a MC who was of my same ethnicity, I know he said fuck your ethnicity, but that would be a big thing. Like that would be eye opening. For recognizing something like where we come from. I feel like that is deep.
Yeah.
And that's sick to me because, I mean, like I said, back to this ancient civilization, we know like how smart they were at their time. And he's saying like, we could be that now.
Yeah.
Fuck all this bullshit that's holding us down, that's suppressing us. Like, let's fucking write let's take it further.
Yeah.
So I love that. And he's basically writing hieroglyphs.
Lyrically for sure.
Yeah, this is
Lyrical hieroglyphics.
he's the lyrical Billy Carson in that effect. Like it's you don't get you're able to build off of how lyrical you are as long as you're able to attribute what you do to the masses within your chorus.
Yeah.
As long as you're able to bridge that gap, you're able to like, hey, look, if you can find some appeal within my chorus, you'll be able to find that similar appeal within verse 2, verse 1, and verse 3.
Right.
Because that's what's going to be the thing that bridges the gap.
Takeaways for you, Ali, on this.
I mean, it was
album,
it was an underground independent classic. It
Well
set the stage for who he would become. And like I said, I was a fan before this, but this was the one that said, okay, nope, I'm putting all my chips in the middle of the table. I'm betting the house, the car, everything that Kendrick is gonna win. He's gonna be the guy. I mean, and it still was kind of early. I mean, it wasn't a sure thing, but I felt it was a sure thing because no one was this well-rounded at this point in hip-hop as far as newer MCs. They just weren't out. Like, if we're talking under the age of 30, no one was rapping like him. Nobody.
And then to follow this up with Good Kid, Mad City,
come on,
Damn, To Pimp a Butterfly, Mr. Morales, like
he really hasn't missed.
Yeah, like it makes sense once you hear this first album, once you actually like find the gap of years between each album after that, it makes sense to realize, hey, look, like he's making classics between the time that he feels that the audience is able to interpret it.
yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And we're here for that because, you know, we're not going to be at a point where like, oh man, I wanted this artist to release this now. I don't give a fuck if he's like artistically ready to release the album.
Right.
And if they do release the album when they're not artistically ready, we're gonna fucking bag them.
Be mad if it's whack.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, yo, like he could have done better. It's like, okay, so give us we'll give them all the time he needs.
Yep.
And that's what Kendrick does. Like Kendrick doesn't like he's working off his own time.
You know what's funny is like Drake is pressuring him to release something now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know, I know you're struggling, but honestly, I think Kendrick can. You know, you don't want to take too long, but at the same time, he doesn't have to feel rushed by Drake because whatever he got's cooking up right now,
it's gonna be nasty.
Yeah. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
So I could pretty much bank on that.
Oh yeah.
What I was gonna say is like listening to his, you know, all the way up to his more recent works now, and then looking back at Section 80, you know, I see early themes that he starts building upon, which is this, you know, battle between good and evil, between heaven and hell, between angels and demons, and being even Christ like or even Lucifer. Like he constantly plays with these themes. He's also dealing with, you know, some inner conflicts that he's been dealing with, you know, from his journey from Compton to being this huge MC rock star now, and the pressures with that, because given this label of being the savior of hip hop, he's like, well, you know, all the leaders that we've had in the past, even from Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they're all dead.
Yeah.
They all gave their life for what? The people just forgot about them and moved on. Even like, you know, to leaders like when he did the Heart Part 5, you know, he brought up OJ, he brought up Will Smith, he brought up Kobe, Nipsey, all these leaders. And then we, as fans or as the public, we move on from them. Or if they enter into a controversy, we're like, oh, let's cancel them.
Yeah.
So he's like, will you ride with me even when shit hits the fan? Will you ride with me still? And I think he has reached a point where it's like, he knows and recognizes he's been given this label as the savior of hip hop. And he's like, I'm not your savior. I'm not that guy.
Right.
And he goes, I'm okay with that. I'm the savior of me, but I can't be the savior for you.
Yeah.
You got to be your own saviors.
Right.
So I love the fact that he's built this arc over time. And I think, you know, if you haven't checked out even his latest work with Mr. Morales and all that, like, it's probably not commercially prepared in a way where it's going to be like hits like how Damn was. No. But he takes a risk in taking you on this personal journey that he's going through. Yep. And it's still cinematic. You still got that. It's still lyrical. And it's just him going through the personal journey. So I seen the connection from all these albums to that point, and it's pretty dope. And I'm you know, looking forward to see what he comes up with next, or what the next part of that journey is, what's going to be, because as hip hop fans, we're seeing hip hop is going way beyond now than just being in the 20s, 20-year-olds. Like we're taking it further now. 30s
Oh, yeah.
and 40-year-olds are still doing it. Nas is still doing it.
Right.
So I think that's dope. If you guys enjoyed this episode, we encourage you to please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you follow us on social media. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. Wherever you hear us, make sure you look out for us. But also, too, my friends also have things going on, some side hustles that, you might actually take a liking to. For example, if you have... maybe your gear is lacking some macking. You need some pins to step it up a bit, to show off your interest. Mark is your plug for that.
Yeah,
he has pins that is a wide range that it might be to your liking. So check his page out. How can they find you, Mark?
So check us out on thenotoriouspin.com or on Instagram at lnotoriouspin. Or on TikTok at the Notorious Pin. We have a lot of pins that'll meet your desire in terms of pop culture, video games. We try to keep it simple. We try to keep it to characters and to likenesses that you'll find appealing. We're not going to give you a direct character pin. We'll give you the Nintendo 64 controller, maybe the controller color that you used to have, whether it be the fire red, jungle green, banana yellow, black.
Is it true that you're the kingpin?
I try. You know what? With Nintendo 64 controllers and logos, I think I might be. Check out the Nintendo 64 collection at thenotoriouspin.com.
Also,
or
I said pause, by the way.
At El Notorious Spin. We're gonna have to post edit the no ditties on a lot or the pauses with all that. But yeah, feel free to check us out. We're here to satisfy your pin needs.
Yeah. Also, too, Ali has been writing. This was actually to my surprise. I didn't know that he actually pinned down some that he was an author like that. Doesn't surprise me in that aspect, but surprised me as in dude, I didn't know you wrote it. So yeah, Ali, talk a little bit about where they can find you.
Yeah, so I have a book out, Restoring the Feeling. It's a digital only book. You can find that on barnesandnobles.com, iTunes, or Amazon. And I'm working currently to put out my second book, The Inspiration, later this year. The book is done. I just have to get it published, but it'll be out later this year. And you can find me on Instagram at Hip Hop's Godson. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Peace to that. Mark, go ahead and give the fans what they want.
You know what? To the MCs.
If
If you drop a mic, drop a like.
Of course, drop a like.
You know what? Because, we got hundreds of people watching our videos on average,
right,
and we only get single digits of likes on average.
Yeah.
So that doesn't equate. That honestly equates to less than 10% of the people who watch to the people who actually like. Yeah. So we're calling you out.
And we're still on that journey. So all right, everybody. Peace. Have a great week. Till next time. See you guys later. Peace.
Yep. Peace.